Podcast Randomizer League. Welcome to the open match in the 2022 season number 5 tournament as we bring you the opening match of this round here between Pass the Picanha and Acai, I think it's how it's pronounced, or Acai, I forget exactly how it's pronounced. Anyways, I'm Adirondack Rick, being joined by Professor Renderer. So what's going on with this match?
So this is the first round between the first match between these two teams, and it's Acai. And so it's PH Tony T Young. It's playing Ambrosia, where we have a starting sword. It's inverted, and we have a big key shuffle in play.
All I know is that I used to have to pronounce that back in the days when I worked at a particular bread place that is a national chain. That's all I will say. And I always mispronounced it.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so let's introduce our two runners.
Yeah. Over on Pass the Picanha side, we have PH. Currently sitting at 5-1 overall. The only loss that was being on week 1 to Puck Hunters, and Tony T Young is sitting at a perfect record overall, a good 8-0.
And that includes a perfect 2-0 right now, or 1-0 record, I think, is in Ambrosia, because I forget exactly what he had against Reg in the first round of the playoffs here, the wild card round. The playoffs continue in just a few moments. We have Ambrosia, so this could be a whole lot of fun. And I have a particular runner I might be rooting for because of their sprite choice.
Yes, Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life.
Wait, I mean, you're not? I'm not talking Link?
Well, I mean, Link is there, I guess. We're underway, but mainly Rocco's Modern Life. We started Link's house for Tony T Young, gets bombos immediately.
And Bombos in Ambrosia can be rather interesting, considering the fact that Ice Palace is only blocked by flippers.
Yeah, got our Darkhold map check here. We have a red crystal on Swamp, and then pendant ice. Just regular pendant ice.
So I'm going to be very, very concerned if we do see flippers showing up here as one of our Spear 1 checks. And we do see there's going to be a piece of heart over here at the bumper ledge. So we're not going to be even concerned about that. PH just going to not want to be careful, try to make sure that he gets on over towards Skull Woods, where a lot of our Spear 1 checks are going to be found.
Yeah, and especially wanted to make sure PH holds on to the life there, because the Death Warp strat is very common with inverted, because you can get bombs right out of the starting blocks, and we're going to see that right now from PH as we speak.
Got a little trolled right there by that skull showing up, and the gloves have shown up already.
Yeah, immediate gloves, always nice to see.
So the big keys have been moved out of their dungeons. They are somewhere random around here in our world. You said, right?
Yeah, this is a big key shovel, so this means what was normally 2 dungeons or 2 items out of this dungeon is now 3.
And that could come into play a little bit later on when we're trying to figure out what exactly is going to be go mode. As Tony T Young is going to leave this first section, is he going to brave the elements here for the second section? He's going to go ahead and farm his bombs. But I definitely think that with you having bombos accessible to you, and if you have enough magic for it, you've got to take that chance for that big key chest.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And it's also not a bad idea to get bombs. It is the common opener with inverted. Okay, Peach will take a save quit here. We'll get that bombos out of Link's house. As we are listening to Shovel Knight on PH Scream, which is the MSU of choice.
A misfired bomb right there for PH. Hopefully that doesn't come into play. Oh, never mind. Nice tree pull right there.
Yeah, made up for that
missed
shot, and we as you point out, Mitts in Hype Cave, along with the Lamp, so that's not too bad, really.
Now that does get you up to Dark Death Mountain, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Dark Death Mountain is in play.
Probably a little too early to make that play, but this also does make getting back to the Village of Outcast a little more of a easier decision once you get done with the upcoming trip over to the digging game.
Yeah, and that's a really nice find early on, because you can route in that Village of Outcasts just from the Link's house so early on, as you mentioned. So for what it's worth, the Hype Cave actually being not too bad and very convenient, if I would say so.
So we'll go ahead and introduce our two teams in just a few moments. But what dig number do you think it's going to be?
Oh, commonly it's around the 20s. I'll say around like 21.
Whoa! Number 13 has the boots.
Okay, I see you there. We're already we're not even like 5 minutes in, and already we have speed.
I do like the strategy here from Tony T. Young here, just to start trying to get some extra money, because you're going to need it for the Palace of Darkness a little bit later on. Also, maybe if you do get that access to Kakariko Village with a Moon Pearl.
Right, yeah, and this is something that PH didn't bother to do. A lot of the time, you'll be looking to get money through the archery game, because it is just 20 rupees, and you have 5 arrows. You can get a lot of money out of the gate. It is another one of those common openers that you see within Inverted.
And we get ourselves Mirror has been located.
We're getting front loaded with a lot of items at this starting couple minutes here, so that's not bad, really. Checking out C-shaped house.
Thankfully, the seed has been very kind in regards to the bombs.
Yeah, and Tony T. Young doesn't know that there's an 8-bomb pack, an 8-bomb tree pull that PH knew about early. So
and honestly, that has not hampered any of the efforts here from Tony. And the bomb drops here, the bomb packs and whatnot that have been found, have definitely benefited Tony T. Young.
Yeah, the bomb drops that we've seen, they just are very convenient, as you mentioned, and you don't have to worry about bomb trouble as we start the game off here.
Both runners here sitting with low health as we get nice single arrow.
The very inconspicuous arrow that may or may not have some implications on how we finish the game.
And that's the map. So we do get 2 items out of this first section of Thieves Town. We'll obviously have to wait until we get the big key before we can try to see if we can't locate the other 2 items inside of this dungeon. As looks like PH is going to be heading towards the mountain.
Yeah, this makes sense because you got Mitz and Lamp out of Hype Cave so early on. It's a play that makes sense as it stands.
Oh, swing and miss on the bird.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to Inverted. You start off in the Dark World with 3 hearts and green mail. Anything can kill you really fast.
Yeah, and that's going to be a time-consuming return back to that spot here for PH, as Tony T. Young now going to be doing the same thing against the Myrtle Dactyl. And gets him to move, gets the perfect hit on him.
Alright, so we'll see Tony T. Young entering Dark Death Mountain first, over PH. And this is a time sink, yes, but it's not so bad considering it's the early moments in the game.
Nice patience there from PH on the second trip around.
wanted to play it a little safe, having just baiting out the Murderodactyl as best as they can, and then trying to land the perfect shot on him.
And I will point out that was a little bit dangerous for PH because of the fact that he got bonked back in towards the path of that bat. And those bats are Dark World bats.
Right, yeah. And those do a good number of damage.
And that was before he could claim the old man, so therefore he'd have to go back to starting location.
Yeah, that is right. You don't if you didn't get into the old man cave by that point, you would have had you wouldn't be able to get the checkpoint.
Desert is our 6th, and also Eastern, our green pendant. Hera, the other pendant as well.
That bunny looking quite green. Might be a palette issue.
Spunky!
And so here's the thing. I wasn't around when Rocko's Modern Life was a thing. I'm sad about that.
You missed out on a lot of stuff there. Oh, that's unfortunate for PH, taking the death after winding up getting stuck by the dead rock.
The mountain portal, the mountain start is there though, so that is the more important thing. Even though you died, you still have access to the Light Death Mountain just from that portal start. Yeah,
this is a less costly death for PH as opposed to the one that he took to the Murderodactyl.
Correct. Yeah, and here's another thing. There's just again the nature of the beast when it comes to inverted these Lionels.
Both runners safely through the Lionels to get to Super Bunny Cave.
We have in here a good chunk of money and a small bit of money.
305 rupees in all.
Okay, so we'll have the bonk check here in Hookshot Cave. We won't be able to do the rest unless someone is daring enough to hover or everything.
And just 20 rupees in the bonk chest.
20 Tion's gonna go for it. That Bari might be a problem.
That fall also could be a problem. One more chance if you want to take it. Actually says no. I'm going to go ahead and make my way on out of here. Looks like PH is going to try to do the hover. Is successful. Gets a fairy in a bottle.
Now has to make that this bonk work. If he's not lined up a certain way, he will fall and does make it. So here comes the second hover.
As Tony T. Young is going to call it quits as far as trying to do the hover. Can PH get something big out of here? That is a big key to Misery Mire.
That I would say is big.
It's even bigger if the hookshot turns out to be in Misery Mire later.
Yeah, you sequence break the Mire big key, which is pretty substantial. As we see that Bombos is required for Turtle Rock, and this isn't a big deal for him, and may have realized, oh, this is the mirror portal, right? Or the light world portal. He's gonna have to mirror there.
Yeah, unfortunately, this did not work out for Tony T. Young. So back he goes the other direction, and let's see what Tony plans on doing. Kind of showing a little bit of indecisiveness at this stage. Looks like he's going to be heading over towards the portal over here. Not exactly sure what his next plan is. It looks like PH is heading up towards the mountain. Oh, that's right. We want to get to the floating island because we can get there here. And it could have something important instead of just 10 arrows.
Yeah, that's a heads up call from PH, and Tony TM will do the same thing as well. We're between both of our runners. They've been in lockstep. Sure, there have been a couple of depths on the side of PH, but even despite that, they're still relatively close by to each other.
Tony trying to do the dance of the dead rocks. Gets around him, sees the 10 arrows. It's going to go ahead and grab it to at least get him into a Super Bunny state so he can do something over here, but we get ourselves the trip into Agate Tower for now.
With the tunes to Pridemore Cave from Shovel Knight.
And PH is opting out of this play.
This might be the result of realizing that, wait, this isn't, this only give me, like, what? Just the, Agate kill. And we're still not sure what Agate is necessary.
Tony trying to do the current jump, having a little bit of difficulty timing things up. Final chance. That's a no. And a reset.
Okay. So I think I don't know. I am more of the. I more prefer doing it from like near the bottom, not like the absolute bottom. But I've seen it where you can do it from like a little bit higher than you normally would do. It might have been what Tony Tia may have been throwing the bomb like way early, like it was like too early.
What it looked like to me, and he gets it this time around, it looked like he was a little too high to have it work the way that Tony wanted to the first time around, but does get it this time around, so good job to Tony on the second attempt through. Now we're going to go ahead and see what we have at Catfish.
It was not only just too high, but also early, as chat's pointing out. It is very specific on where you place the bomb, where you put yourself in. So when you're doing a current jump, I prefer to do it from the bottom, like near the bottom, but not absolute bottom, as I mentioned. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get the Catfish chuck, as you mentioned. Looking to break something.
And we wind up getting ourselves a boomerang, so a little bit of a defensive stance there as we see Tony using it immediately. BH getting ready to head up over towards Aghanim. So I guess the question then becomes, how many blue balls do you think Aghanim is going to be throwing at PH this time?
I typically stick with the average of 3 because that is the most common you see with Agate blue balls. It's not specifically like, it could be 3, it could be more than 3. It really depends.
So Tony making his way up over here to the pyramid to see what we get on top of here. A heart container, you won't say no to that at this stage with only 4 hearts. And it's Sanctuary Heart, in fact, indeed.
Okay. That's, fine, really. It is a heart container. You would have liked to see it a little bit later on in the game, but we won't say no to a refill.
Absolutely. Quickly here, taking a look at both of our runners here. Past Picanha was the divisional champions of the Castle Tower Division. Tepidino, the green pendant, James F and X, the red pendant, and PH here as your blue pendant. They were the higher seed of this match, so therefore PH was the one who got to determine this matchup.
Yeah, and the Castle Tower Division was the division that I was in with my team. Every Day is Mad Red Monday. We didn't do so hot, but we got at least a couple wins out of it, so I'm not complaining. Anyway, I got time.
So far, no blue balls showing up here for the Aghanim fight. I say that, and then that happens. And we have an immediate bow block over here inside of Palace of Darkness with that map showing up.
I'm not sure if Tony should probably not have a bottle. I'm a little confused about why he's going over here in the first place. Oh no! Oh wait, no, mimic clipping. Okay, right.
Yeah. Tony's bottle. Tony does not have a bottle because PH wound up getting the bottle by way of sequence break. As we get to see Tony trying to do the mimic clip over here, some frame movements over here, trying to move the controls perfectly here. Trying now to switch on over towards menuing strats to try to get the mimic to set up where Tony wants it to, trying to get into the wall so it floats away.
Yeah, the game really doesn't it doesn't matter if the mimic is,
and it's successful.
As if we're seeing it right here. The game doesn't matter if it's still alive, as long as it's off the screen, off that particular camera in that particular room. The game will be like, okay, you killed all the enemies. We might as well open the door.
Double keys here on the mimic side. Was not surprised here, as we knew that there was going to be at least one key over here. Acai comes out of the Desert Palace division, which was won by the group otherwise known as Chad, the Kabuki Hundo Activist Department. And this team here has got VGF Taylor as the green pennant, Dixon as the red pennant, and Tony here as the blue pennant of this team.
Yeah, well, on the side of past the Picanha, we have PHHC right here, and then we have Tepidino on the green and James up next on the red.
Solid strat there by PH, doing the one pot and then hitting it with the 4 swords to knock it into death. As this turns out to be, was that a 5-key front section here? The map is the only non-key? No, it couldn't be.
Right, yeah, and it would be surprising if it was a 5-key, because, like, given that configuration, I've seen 5 keys before, and they're not particularly common. What's especially rare is a 6-key.
Oh gosh, a 6-key is always fun. Oh, bow! Oh my! And we just found the flippers over here in the Palace of Darkness.
So this is a Moon Pearl locked bow. And as far as those flippers are concerned,
that's a bow blocked flippers.
Right, yeah. And that's gonna be a weird lot. So if that bow is the first bow that we see, like the bow that's like So if that first bow is what like that bow we saw is like the first one we see, like, and it's not being blocked by anything else, then it's a Moon Pearl and Aga locked flippers.
Yeah, because Tony wound up doing the current jump to get over to this side. We have a rod, fire rod!
Oh, wow.
And that is a huge boost for PH when he winds up getting the boots and also the Moon Pearl as well. Knowing that fire rod is there is massive.
Yeah, a lot of the things, like, well, this is interesting because PH had originally did the hover, which was what we saw early on, and that was for a Meyer big key. And now, of all these wild sequence breaks that we're seeing, this is. Oh wow, hookshot too.
Oh my! Okay, so that's where the Meyer big key will turn out to be in logic. And Tony is missing the big key, of course, because it's ambrosia here, so that you don't have the big key going into here. That's the desert big. I was expecting that. Oh my goodness.
Wow. So already we have a loaded CAC with not only the desert big, but also Samaria and hookshot.
It seems like the last, outside of those flippers for Tony, the last 15 minutes have been really coming up in PH's favor.
Yeah, and
maybe I was gonna say maybe more like 10 minutes just to correct it.
Yeah, Tony TM will hinder Aga 1. No other roads other than to go to Aga 1.
And this is good because we now know that Tony needs to do this Aga play.
Right, yeah, because this, well, again, out of logic, there's a bow there.
Not just even for the bow, the fact that you have the fire rod at the lumberjacks.
That too, yes. And even though this is Moon Pearl locked, that is something that will come into play and it is no 100% required because of Skull Woods being a crystal and Turtle Rock being a crystal.
Just 20 rupees coming back here from the mimics, or not the mimics, the breadsmiths.
Picking that purple chest along for the ride, for PH. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is considered in logic because this is a bunny walk.
Yeah, this is one of the many things you do need to know when it comes to ambrosia.
Yeah, over in the K45, which has a little VT in the inverted map, it's just 300 rupees. And that VT stands for VTOR.
Taking a look at the map, getting the same information that we saw from Tony earlier in regards to the pendants and crystals here of the light world.
Yeah, this is something that PH hadn't done yet, but Tony had. So this is information that is now new to PH. We'll go ahead and see an Aga kill over on Tony's side. It looked like it from the chat too, is that it was a three blue balls. So sticking with the average, it makes sense.
Yes, indeed, you were correct in regards to the number of the blue balls we were going to see, as we now make our way over here to the Misery Mire area for PH.
I'm surprised that didn't mirror bonka.
I am surprised as well. I thought that was a little too close to the artifacts that are there in the water. Bombos for both of our dungeons today.
Hey, at least we don't have to worry about any more medallions with it being double bombos. Speaking of which,
there's Quake, and PH is not going to go into Misery Mire at this stage.
Interesting. I guess to be fair, with you being on a fighter sword, it's the Vinny kill feels weird because you probably need an arrow upgrade or like a bomb upgrade to even make it more feasible.
Maybe you find silvers inside of that Misery Mire. Who knows? It's definitely a question mark, but I think the The bigger question right now is, where is our Moon Pearl?
Yeah, that is part that has to hold the logic together because of the bow.
Yeah. I mean, hookshot is in logic, right? Because of the fact that you can talk to the NPC and purchase the wares off them, and sometimes that could be your Moon Pearl, but definitely interesting here as far as the decisions by PH at this point. But again, maybe just trying to see if we can't get a Moon Pearl in an earlier spear.
Probably. We're gonna go and see a laser bridge play from PH.
All right, here we go. We got ourselves one of our small keys to Turtle Rock. Another of our small keys to Turtle Rock. A fall down the pit down to a half of a heart. A third small key. Can we make it 4, please?
If this is 4,
it's not. Oh my goodness!
For the dungeon.
Oh my goodness!
What is this game? What you get? Like, you give us 3 big keys, you give us 3 small keys, and you give us the big key on top of it. What is this game?
All right, let's just get this 4th key out of the way. Coming up in just a moment. Let's just have it right up here, the crystal or the room.
If this is just to add more fuel to this fire.
If this is the small key to this dungeon number 4, I'm out of here.
Alright, it's a map. Waiting on it. Alright.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. I know exactly what PH was trying to do. They're trying to use the invincibility frames from the block. However, just had it in the wrong spot.
That, and I feel like this. It may have been a little bit way too conservative. I mean, you could have done use your Samaria there. It may have been as some method. You had to use one of your resources eventually somehow.
Tony making his way around the light world now in the bunny form, heading in a different direction than what we saw from PH.
All right, this makes sense, really. You just got your big key here. You get a swamp big in return, which is, eh.
Yay.
It's a big key that exists just to get just a check, and that's it.
Yeah, that's exactly why I gave it the unenthusiastic yay there.
Right, yeah, it's not one of the, it's, as you kind of put it, it's not the most exciting big key to find.
Just like it is in any key mode, whether it be cross keys, key sanity, ambrosia, you just go, yay, when you find it.
Yeah, that same thing could be said about the Hera big key as well, as due to it being now being relegated to just being a yay, that's a thing, because of Herapod.
I mean, at least the Hera big key is a logical thing that you need to beat the dungeon, as opposed to the swamp big that can just show up anywhere. Right,
yeah, and I'm just saying it for the more, like, just because, well, Herapod is a thing. Yes, it is logically required. It's just, yeah. If you just Herapod and you find the big key here, there's also Moon Pearl, by the way, in the chain shop room.
Yeah, and I definitely do understand what you're saying right there. Obviously, Hera big key has less of an importance nowadays. Oh, electrocuted.
Right. Yeah. It has less value. It has less like value compared to it, even if it's logically required.
So we're going to have 2 items over on the right side when we do get that fire rod. Whenever past the Picanha's PH does get over there, going to pick up the hook shot now. And that will probably send Tony like, oh, why did you have to give me that now? 7 items, Paradox Cave. Renderer, what do we got?
Well, we got 10 arrows and a piece of heart for the bottom 2.
So disappointment and disappointment.
Yeah, looking at that top 5 here. Just a bit. Just gotta clear out these mini moldorms.
Or bottom 5, depending on how you feel this cave.
Depends. Bombs, some rupees, Master Sword, and something.
So disappointment, 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 and ooh, shiny sword.
Yeah, it's a sword. It lets you do stuff with it. It lets you do spins on Ganon.
Do you make the push for Vitreous for that shiny Master Sword?
It's probably, well, with that Moon Pearl now being in play, it's kind of far away.
It's also tempting. It's tempting.
It is tempting, but will it? Do you factor in the time that you have to take in order to get there, as we get the bug nets from the spiral kit?
So I have a issue here, Renderer.
What's up?
Remember earlier in the seed when I was mentioning about that bombos and how it opens up a potential location once we find the flippers? Well, those flippers now, because of that Moon Pearl, is in logic.
Right.
Hammerless Ice Palace, anybody?
It's that with it being pendant, I have no problems with it. If it was a crystal, then we're having problems. And not even like sweetens the pot a little bit. You have big chests alongside it.
An extra check that is now in logic with that Ice Palace. There are only 3 checks inside of Ice Palace that you can't get without that hammer. Technically, there's one of them you can get without the hammer because of Icebreaker, but would you really pull the trigger on that one?
I would say yes. Really, like it's you're getting the. Yes, it's out of logic, but you at least get something out of it. Like use another check.
Well, it looks like tempered sword.
Tempered sword, and now we're looking good for Ganon. And we're seeing over on Tony T Young's side a Meyer play.
And just for our tracker behind the scenes, Tony does have the bow out of Hyrule Castle's sewers.
Correct. Yeah, and this is this was out of logic, and same way that PH got it.
Tony does not know about that fire rod that currently sits on top of the lumberjack.
Yeah, and PH is gonna hold off on getting that fire rod until it's along the path, which is an honest play that is fair, considering you have a lot of stuff to do here now.
You've got the lamp. You got the lamp if you need to go into any dungeon that requires you to light the torches. You have the bombos if you need to go into Ice Palace. At this stage, you can put off doing the fire rod until you're ready to do Thieves Town and Skull Woods, and you're probably going to hold off doing that until you get the hammer, so you can do both of them together.
Yeah, it's the sense. It's perfectly fine to leave the fire rod alone. It's totally fine.
Tony runs out of life there, but at least gets the chest, which was a key. Let's see if Tony goes back in for more. Yes, he is.
You're already here at Meyer. You've walked quite a long distance. You're gonna be with no big key currently. It makes sense to go just to keep going as far as you can, because who knows when you'll be back.
By the way, a big shout outs to Yoinker's wife, who is clicking those buttons, making those icons appear behind the scenes for us here on this match, the Open League match here on SpeedGaming.
It's the first game between these two teams. It's the power players going first. The mode is Ambrosia that was picked by the higher seed.
Which the higher seed in this belongs to PH with Past the Picanha.
And yes, in addition, we also have the MSUs, of course, been a mainstay since early 2022 with the main tournaments for that year, and PH is running with the Shovel Knight MSU pack.
Good patience here by Tony not to try to press the matter here, because touching those Wiz robes with his current mail setup and 1.5 hearts would be another pass back to start. And this is starting to feel like a mode that if you start taking unfortunate deaths, your time you're giving to your opponent is going to be too much and too valuable.
Yeah, it's just you.
Oh,
okay.
Sword 4, which is something that PH probably is not going to grab. Hammer!
Oh! Oh!
And this is why the seed was setting us up for a trip into Meyer this early.
Yeah, and this is still concerning for Tony T. Young because of that lack of Meyer big key.
Oh, that's right, because this is Ambrosia. He does not have that Meyer big key that is out of the hookshot cave, but I'm sure he'll get back over there soon enough, down to 1.5 hearts. So, unfortunately, Tony T. Young is going to be setting himself up for a return trip here, but that hammer is definitely a big find. Magic powder as well. I'm getting really curious about that magic bat with that discovery.
You got the ingredients for magic bat. It's why not just press it? Really, it's just if you want to get a moon pearl, but still. Anyway, PH will go ahead and get that fire rod now. It's now a perfect time to do so.
And so let's see where Tony winds up going. I forgot also we need the Thieves Town big key in order to make that deeper dive inside of Thieves Town. But Tony T. Young is going to be setting himself up for a trip over here to the Hammer Pegs.
As PH will take a trip over to the Lost Woods. Again, the only one with that moon pearl in hand.
300 rupees found over here for Tony. Going to do the save and quit. Now we need Tony to go up to the mountain and go into Turtle Rock, but that does not seem to be the current game plan. I think, Oh, is this going to be the ice dive? No, it's not.
It's a pod play.
But Tony got everything out of pod that's accessible at this point.
It may have been a realization that, oh wait, pod isn't we have already done pod. So that's why that was the case. And yeah, we're going for an ice play. That is what you said that was going to be the case, and we're seeing it now.
So now the question is what is inside of this ice palace?
Yeah, that's a very good question to ask here. This is a pendant ice as well.
And we already know where all of our swords are. You will be going up against Cold Stare with Fighter Sword.
Fighter Sword, 6 hearts, blue mail. This is, if you can do your low percent fights, this is manageable. If you can't, then you're gonna be in a heap of trouble.
I mean, Tony has shown that he can do things in this league so far, as you mentioned earlier, 8-0 so far, and had one Ambrosia back in week number 2 of the regular season.
Correct, and PH is wanting to eliminate that perfect record that Tony has. And just to kind of clarify too, Tony went 8-0. It's currently sitting at 8-0, a perfect record, along with that 2-0 in Ambrosia, as you mentioned. And while we were talking about that, then PH just fought a Moth. We didn't see it because it was so quick. That's the first quest on the board.
We didn't see it because we were a little distracted with everything that we were trying to talk about.
Right. You come in Ice Palace Bomb Jump, very good.
For those keeping up with this series, game number 2 of this series. Yeah, game number 2, the green pendant matchup between Tepidino and VGF Taylor will be tomorrow, 12:10 p.m. on a channel to be decided.
And that is the casual boots matchup.
And then James Athenix against Dixon will be the pseudo boots cross keys. That match will be coming up Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, sitting on the eve before Christmas Eve. Alright, we're gonna do the blind spot check now, doing a proper Kakariko dive. We did a little bit earlier, but now we're gonna go ahead and clean things up here. Big key, Skull Woods.
Such a fun one to find after you just defeated Skull Woods.
Yeah, and we do get a blue potion. Well, we never say no to blue potions. It is the big potion of all the potions in the game. And from one bottle to another, we find another bottle over on Tony T. Young's side, and that has a bee in it. Mushroom pickup from PH Chicken Hut.
By the way, I took a look and saw what was the match between Reg and Tony T. Young in the first round of the playoffs, the wild card round. It turned out to be Tony T. Young's selection was the hard randomizer.
I absolutely love Randomizer, and that's always one of the more fun modes of the powered selections. ₹20 on the race game.
You're not all that concerned about those 20 rupees at this stage. And so the question mark then becomes, there really wasn't anything inside of this ice palace.
Right.
So the Bombos was just to get us the hammer and later access to the front of Turtle Rock, although we can beat Turtle Rock at some point in time for that access. But here is Tony T. Young heading on over towards the mountain, Dark Death Mountain. This will have to be a laser bridge check here. And I wonder what exactly is going to be Tony's feeling when he does see that Moon Pearl.
It feels... the feeling I might see from Tony is that this is about just over about an either above or like just over the 50-minute mark Moon Pearl. It's pretty late. You kind of feel behind considering you did a lot of like these out there plays and it didn't work out. Especially considering the Meyer Big Key is just right there in Hookshot Cave. You're especially feeling like I could have finished this.
Especially considering the fact that Tony T. Young ended up trying to do the hover, but failed and had to give up on that a little bit earlier, as we now see Tony T. Young setting up and this. At this stage, where are we going? Are we going back to Ice Palace? Uh-oh.
Well, I will say, though, the bee in question is a good bee. So, turn it in for 100 rupees if you want to. Looking like there's may have been some indecisiveness for Tony here.
Yeah, this is exactly what it looks like right now, is that he has no idea what his game plan is. He's just kind of making all the motions, and that's unfortunate because that is time that you do lose, and the one major advantage for Tony T. Young is about to go bye-bye.
Right, yeah, because PH is now in Meyer now to music from the Exploratorium Late Night stage. Light Night of which being a sprite in and of itself. One of many, many sprites you can choose from. Okay. Tony TM will do a sick hit check in the midst of this indecisiveness.
Yeah, Tony T. Young needs to get into Laser Bridge. This will solve the logic problem. However, I don't know if Tony is thinking about that at this point. He looks lost.
Yeah, this might be a searching of the map just to see what Tony has to do. And this is a situation where if you were breaking the chain a lot, if you're breaking the chain a lot, you miss out on some very real in logic plays. And yeah,
and you don't think about things like Laser Bridge at this point. This is tough. Tony T. Young needs that thought process to go back up the mountain.
Yeah, and this is where you would have if you are running a map tracker, you would know what's up. Now, we can't see from the layouts if Tony T. Young has a map tracker on hand, but it is just something that is just something that has to be brought up. Because even with a map tracker, you could probably you may have mismarked something, and you're just kind of scratching your head going, what did I miss?
And that's exactly what Tony is going through at this point, as he's going to find out that he can't get into the escape sequence, the passageway. I think that's what he was thinking of, as now PH has pulled the hammer. And again, that advantage that Tony had is now gone.
Correct. Yeah, and PH has a pretty substantial advantage so far. Sure, PH doesn't have the flippers. That is, as I see it, a non-issue. It is you'll be getting it along the way in pod. you can go into pod if you wanted to, but ideally you would be having the pod big key on hand, so that way you can get the clear going along with getting the flippers. PH doesn't know that the flippers are there, but for our perspective, that's just be the ideal situation for him.
So I just want to address something at this point that is being brought up in chat. Is you can get Super Bunny by falling into the well. Now, falling into the well is something that you could do and be able to pull up those checks, although those would not be in logic at this stage. Now, going into the passageway of escape is different, because both ways you need to lift up a bush in order to get inside, which you cannot do as a bunny.
Right. So, looks like Tony T. Young is heading back over to the Meyer area.
Yeah, and at this point in time, it might just be a case where Tony's thinking that this is what the seed wants you to do. Get either the big chest or... Oh, Tony thinks he may have missed something. He's going to find out. He's already got those 2 checks in there. And maybe that's also to reset the Myrtle Dactyl as well. But this is not what Tony needs. This is not what he's going to want. And at this stage, I almost would hope that Vitreous drops the Ice Rod to start making PH think about Turtle Rock existing.
Tony T. Young, yes. If the Ice Rod shows up there, that's the ringing the sign that, okay, Turtle Rock is the move, but it is not. It's just bombs. Second crystal on the board for PH. And yeah, for our tracker, Hammer has been acquired for PH.
As it just got marked off right there. And now PH, Hammer in hand, might be thinking about going over towards the Palace of Darkness. Not from this angle, though.
Alright, this was a reset from Tony T. Young. So, and with that pod play, we did see a pod play. Oh no, this is for PH. All right, yeah. For PH, pod play could be in the cards, but again, as I've kind of pointed out too, pod big key would make it a bit more nicer for him, because you have the clear in addition to getting the flippers, which we know is in pod. Magic Bat check coming up for PH.
And this is something I mentioned a little bit ago when we got the combination of items, that this really screamed like this was going to be something. Is it going to be something? Magic Bat, what do you got for us? Nothing.
Just a piece of heart. That's it. Tony T. Young going back into Skull Woods. Just part of this whole indecisiveness that we're seeing from Tony T. Young.
Yeah, and he's lost a lot of time to this indecisiveness. And I'm trying to think if there's even anything that could pull Tony T. Young back into this race. But it's going to have to probably take something really big that he finds. Or, Spike Cave? Oh, boy.
Spike Cave. I like the thought process of Dark Death Mountain. It's just not the correct spot. on Crux from PH is nothing.
Now I'm just concerned that he has enough hearts to get through this. It looks like he will. He's got to get there fast, though. 3 hearts, 2 hearts, get there. Thank you. I mean, even if it wasn't anything there, the thing is that he needed to get that item.
Right. This is another save, another reset for Tony T. Young. Just wanted to keep that collection rate low. Incoming King's Tomb check for PH.
Which is the only thing that mitts really do. Oh my goodness.
Ooh. Big key for Thieves Town.
As I was about to say, the only thing that mitts really do in this mode is that check. And there it is. King's Tomb. Now we go to the back 3 of Escape.
Yeah, yeah, because as it stands right now, just PH has a very, I would say, commanding advantage. Not a lead, a commanding advantage. It's just a lot of this time being lost from Tony T. Young, just from the indecisiveness that Tony has shown and trying to figure out where this Moon Pearl has to be.
I would call it a lead at this point in time. The fact that PH has now gotten 2 crystals on the board, while Tony is just spiraling, trying to figure out what he has missed. And the answer is you've got to go through bunny walking to the Turtle Rock Bridge, laser bridge, to get that Moon Pearl.
Yeah, and this is, and I totally get it. With being 2 crystals, from our perspective, being 2 crystals up from on PH's side leads into the possibility that leads into the notion that this is a very solid lead ahead of time. No bottles to be found, and this is just going to be just a conversion from the red to the blue, which I get.
And this is exactly the comments being made in chat. When you can't conceive the right play, what Tony T. Young is doing is absolutely hard. And it's something that every runner will go through. It's the, what have I missed? Oh my goodness, I've missed something obvious. And the right answer is not coming to you at all. And that's the hardest thing, is that no matter what you're thinking, it's not the right move, and you're getting more and more angrier. You're like, oh, and that will affect the way you play too. That will affect the way that you start thinking about things. So everyone's been there, whether it's inverted, cross keys, even in the regular entrance modes, open, standard, it doesn't matter. Every runner's been through this that Tony's been going through.
Yeah, it is very relatable, and it's a very unfortunate situation, really. Well, now the Samaria picked up from Tony could possibly point him in the direction of Turtle Rock, but I don't know. It's really hard to say.
I forgot that was even a sequence broken Cane of Samaria back when PH was up there the very first time. But this has got to start getting Tony into the mindset that there is stuff available with TR.
Right, and as we're going to see from PH, this will be a third crystal clear waiting on the wings. Just because of that Thieves Town big.
And Renderer,
yeah.
And Renderer, the only thing that's keeping PH away from being able to complete a 4th crystal at this point is that he has not gone into the Palace of Darkness to find those flippers.
Correct, and it's an understandable reason why, because you, as I've said like 3 times already, you want to pair it up with a pod big. That way you can clear it. It's hard. Everyone's been there. I've been there.
I've been there.
Everyone has been there.
I was just going to say, whether you're open or invitational runner, you're somebody on the sidelines watching this, everyone has been there.
Yeah, if you are a runner of this game, and there's a lot of people who in this chat right now who are runners. Like some people are runners, but whatever. What I'm trying to say is that everyone has been there. It's not their first rodeo with a mismarked item or just a where is this supposed to this item? Where is this? What am I missing? Alright. These time big chest is a shield. I am sorry, Lanabine.
Such a fun thing to see. Always real fun when you see a shield pop up like that.
Again, I am sorry, Lanabine. It is unavoidable.
I mean, Bronco is still cute with the purple shirt on.
True. The blind quote was, "Are you doing a blind run of this game?" Well, we're not doing spoiler, so yes.
Wait, this isn't spoil. Never mind. I can't even make that joke right now.
Alright. 3 crystals on the board for PH.
Oh, come on, Tony. You need let's cheer Tony on as he tries to get through this Vitreous. This is not an easy fight with no invincibility items. And we're also talking about right there. We're talking about Fighter Sword as well. I would almost at this stage just go ham on the 9 bombs that you have and the 30 arrows you have and just start attacking him, throwing bombs right into the middle. There. Getting that sweet spot. There we go. We're going bow strats. This is the thing. You just want to make sure you leave 8 for the final stage.
Right, and this is a reasonable play because really, if you're confident with your low percent strats, then this isn't a big deal. We've seen it time and time again. These runners can do low percent fights. Especially when we talk about invitational. When we're talking about an invite level player.
There we go. We got it.
Yep, there it goes.
GG's, Tony.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I'm referring to. It's low percent fights. If you can do them, use them. First crystal on the board for Tony T. Young, but it's still a 2 crystal lead.
And PH is making the way towards the Palace of Darkness as well as Eastern. Going to go ahead and check the back of Sahasrahla real soon. As Tony, get back on the mountain. Go to TR, please.
It may have just dawned on him. It may have realized this may have been it. That Samaria was enough to point in the general direction of where Tony T. Young needs to go.
And green and red. Can you tell it's the holiday season back there behind Sahasrahla with 41 rupees?
I thought it was Mario and Luigi.
I mean, it could be that too. That's a very acceptable answer, Renderer.
Anyway, we're going to Turtle Rock on Tony T. Young. We have access to the front.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get to the chain chomps. Not from this direction.
No, considering the very backloaded key counts, the backloaded keys in Laser Bridge.
Yeah. The keys, there are 3 of them on Laser Bridge. The big key is there as well. And the 4th was at the lava chest.
Yeah, just because, well, what else? And this is probably Tony Tion just thinking. Oh, this has to be a sign for Tony Tion to realize, oh, right, I have to do the bunny walk.
But unfortunately, not doing the saving and quit is not what we needed, as that takes him away from the mountain.
Yeah, I liked the idea doing the front, but it's just unfortunate because of the fact that where the keys were positioned, it's something that Tony Tion doesn't realize that, oh wait, I can get to the back of I can go to Laser Bridge through a bunny walk.
Yeah, Turtle Rock in Ambrosia is about as different in logic standpoints as it is in Cross Keys, where you can get to the other side of Turtle Rock. The game doesn't have to give you things in convenient spots in the front section.
Oh, and something to note too, from Great Indie Bob, you can still access it from, like, I guess is how would you get there?
So the way the logic wanted you to get this Moon Pearl was for you to bunny walk to the Spiral Cave or Mimic Cave, either or, and mirror over to the TR Bridge and enter that way.
Right.
Because you didn't have the big key accessible to you, or rather you don't have the Cane of Samaria accessible to you without the Moon Pearl.
Incoming Eastern play, Green Pennant Eastern play from Tony Tion.
Which we just saw from PH came up empty.
Right, and here's PH entering pod now. You don't have the big key on you, but at this point, you've pretty much exhausted a good chunk of stuff. So it's just sticking out, and well, you're also by Eastern, so I guess that's not exactly true.
I think PH has exhausted everything else that's available at this stage, so therefore Pod has to be where to go. And when he gets the flippers, I think the next play has to be go into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, you said it. You already said it. You exhausted everything. Swamp is the next place you have to go.
And the one thing to know is that this is definitely not an elimination standpoint here for Tony's team. This is only game number 1 of the best of 5 series between these two. The teammates will be able to pick Tony up and try to win things out. Again, game number 2, which will be the casual boots pairing, will be tomorrow, 12:10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, there's still not. It is still anyone's game right now.
It's anyone's series.
Yeah, right. So, flippers have been picked up from PH. Now, Now, as soon as PH is done, I would reckon this is going to be a play for the this will be a play for Swamp, which makes sense.
Yeah, you do the crystal dungeon before you pop your head into a pendant dungeon, which is what Ice Palace is. We know, unless there was something in the hammer blocked chest, which would be in the H room, also the big key chest, which we didn't get to see from Tony because he didn't have the Canis and Maria going in, and also Cold Stare. Those are the only three that you have accessible to you without the only thing you have that the hammer would open up, make difference. But you're going to Crystal Swamp first.
Always beat Crystal Dungeons. A, B, C, D, Crystal. That is the way it has to be currently for PH. And Tony Tion is just sitting on the files, like, just again trying to figure out what to do. It's going to Dark Death Mountain. Is this it?
Could this now be the realization? PH. It was 10 bombs, the other item that was in the first 6 checks of the Palace of Darkness. All right, starting at Link's house. This has got to be a swamp play.
It is. It is. There's nothing else you can do other than this. And it's a crystal dungeon.
Yeah. So here we go. We're dropping down. And even though Tony T. Young has the hammer, could get through there the easier way, although you don't have the moon pearls, never mind. So erase what I just said, but here we go. Please, Tony, please.
It's heading the general direction of it. This might have been the realization that, oh dear. This has to be it.
And when Tony finds out the moon pearl is where it is, you feel absolutely rotten. Because that is the other thing, is that when you find out exactly what this seed wants you to do, oh, please, no.
Spiral Cave?
Going into Spiral Cave, please don't walk away from here after you're done with this.
If you save and quit after this, it just feels horrible. Straight up, it just feels horrible. Swamp Palace play from PH. It is bug net.
Bug catching net. Sit there.
It
is a save and quit.
Oh wait. Thinking about it.
Think it. You were on the ledge. Mirror, 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 mirror. No, don't. No. Don't.
It's just. This hurts. Ugh, this really, really hurts. This is a save quit again. But for what now? Going to Link's house.
I know I've been hampering this throughout this entire broadcast. We have all been there. We've all been there.
It's especially painful. It's really hard. It's really hard to just it's hard. Like, on one hand, you want this to be a really good race, but like on this, like here, it's a situation where it's understandable. It's wholly relatable. It's just, hurts.
It really does, Renderer.
Ugh.
You've been through it. I've been through it. We've all seen stories being talked about in chat about it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's still game 1 at the end of the day for Pass of the Kana.
Yeah, it's not an elimination match, and that's the best takeaway that we have here. Half magic, left side swamp. Over here, The right chest, the big key chest, is a big key to Palace. Oh, God, you're disgusting game.
It had to have shown up eventually.
I know. It's still disgusting.
It's not a good spot. It's a double dip pod. I can't really be too surprised about it. It's just a bad spot, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. It definitely was a disgusting location for it.
Okay. Below the big chest, 20 rupees. Okay. PH about to head to the back of Swamp Palace to get a fourth crystal and make this a 3 crystal lead. Book of Adora.
That was what we need to get into Desert Palace. So now this opens up not only the Nether Crystal for PH to do, but the Pyramid Fairy afterwards.
We're looking at a go -1 situation.
Yep, and Chad is alluding to it. It is the Ice Rod.
Let the Ice Rod hunt begin. Okay. Tony Tion is doing a cold stare fight. And this fight, it too is not a fun fight. No, any fighter sword fight you deal with is not fun. But the benefit you have is that you have a hammer. You can do tempered sword damage with it, and you can do a master sword damage spin from the fighter sword. One puff is down.
Yep.
Over on PH side, that's 4 crystals on the board. Again, a 3 crystal lead.
Tony trying to get this cold stare taken care of. One of the strategies that you could do to make sure that you don't get hit with the ice splatter is get it to the top of the room. Prevent that from going. But that is a good cold stare fight. It was slow, but Tony did not take a death there. Did not have to go into emergency strats. And that is a winnable fight in my books.
But all of that for a bottle and a pendant.
Meanwhile, 50 rupees falls from the sky for PH as we head into our 5th crystal dungeon of this game, Desert Palace.
Ice Rod being here would basically make it's again sensible. It's a sensible play, but considering no, it wouldn't be, though it wouldn't be too bad considering it's a swamp. Where you got it from?
It's like the Fix song. One thing leads to another.
Right.
And I am not sorry if I put that song into your minds here as we find the compass over here inside of the desert. And Tony's gonna come back in here to find that there's nothing that he can do here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what really to comment on. I have nothing against these runners. Just pointing it out there. Both of these runners are really, really good, and that's why you should give them a follow. For full stop.
Yeah.
They've made it to the playoffs, the open playoffs of the ALTTPR League Season 5. That is enough. That is very enough to say these runners are good.
It's not easy making it into the playoffs, even in the open mode, considering the fact that Acai's path to the playoffs required a three-way tie at 10 and 10 and 3? 10 and 4. They were tied at 10 and 4 with Chad and the Crystal Roller crew over there in the Desert Palace division.
Right, and yeah, it is not easy to make the playoffs. Even more so, get a wild card slot. Getting a wild card spot is very, very challenging. You would have to string together a lot of good wins up on a lot of opponents, like to even get a shot at it.
And we mentioned this earlier. Our container right there. We mentioned this earlier. Oh, Tony wound up getting Super Bunny mode in here. It's going to be able to pull the switch. This will at least allow Tony to continue moving along in this seed and get into Swamp Palace.
Right. But what else do you do after that? We saw this is for a pod big key and a book Bedora.
Right, which is the book obviously you're not going to be able to do much with because of the fact that you don't have the Moon Pearl. I just like the fact that you're still moving further ahead while you're maybe thinking about what it is you're missing. And that's one of the toughest things to do. When you get into one of these modes here, as we find the red mail over here on the right-hand side, one of the toughest things to do is to always keep moving forward to at least, maybe you'll get that moment while you're trying to do something else, thinking about it.
Yeah, it's just something you got to find some way to make some progress while you're kind of piecing together what it is that you've missed.
Pyramid Ferry for PH probably will lump this together with a return trip into the Palace of Darkness. And we are starting to run out of locations here where this ice rod can be. Now, there's still those two checks over on the right side of Turtle Rock that we haven't seen. Yeah, we haven't seen these two checks as well. And there's two checks inside of the Palace of Darkness. There's another place we haven't been to either, by the way, Renderer.
That mean Hera.
Yep, the Tower of Hera, where there's 3 items inside. Of course, we don't have the big key yet.
Right, but it doesn't matter. Ice Rod's here.
There!
125.48. Go mode for PH. This is in this game 1 match between Past the Picanha and Acai, PH, Tony Tion, ALTTPR League Season 5.
Yeah, this is definitely PH's match to lose at this point in time. The only question now is, will Tony figure out this logic before PH comes across the finish line? And I'm really hoping that Tony can figure out what exactly happened with this seed. But the thing is, the one thing people in chat have been noting, you will never forget this in any other seed you play afterwards.
No. It is something that, again, it's a lot of lessons to be learned from this. As PH makes his way to go to the back of Pod to fight Helmassar King, and then eventually go over to Turtle Rock to...
I have a question for you.
What's up?
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah?
Is GT's big key guaranteed to be in that dungeon?
I if I remember this right, yes. Yes.
That's what I thought, because then all of a sudden, as I'm going through all of these options here, I'm like, is that a thing here where the GT Big Key is going to be in the dungeon? Because otherwise, we would be declaring go mode a little too early. But I guess we're fine. We're definitely fine. Chat's reminding us that we're perfectly fine, and Redder, you're definitely fine yourself.
Right. I figured that was the case. It's been like a couple games since I played Ambrosia. And granted, I don't think I even played during the Ambrosia week.
What the heck? I just stood on the sidelines and made Orange and Fred do that week.
Yeah, and I only came into the picture at the later half of the season. And the week one, obviously. All right, helmets off. Down goes Helmets Our King. That will be crystal number 6.
Yep, and a quick trip into Turtle Rock to get crystal number 7 right afterwards. Then we go back to the top of the castle for Ganon's Tower. Right,
and this and this will put a nice little bow on this little race here.
Where do you think that other bow is?
Up in GT, like it usually is.
Yeah, you're probably right at this stage.
Yeah, like not even like usually it is, like it always is. I've always championed the idea that silvers are always in GT, even when it's not in GT.
Did you find the silvers in my tower?
Yes, and heck you.
Heck me? My goodness.
Man, I have to say, like, man, Ganon, please do me a favor and don't say that again. Please. Anyway.
But you know he's going to say that.
He is going to say it, yes. We are going to Laser Bridge for PH.
All right, PH dropping down, about to mirror into Laser Bridge. This was the move that gave PH the pathway to the Moon Pearl a little while ago, and that's the piece of the puzzle that Tony T. Young is just unfortunately not found as we get ready to face off against Trinex. Again, please be sure to give both of these runners a follow, PH as well as Tony T. Young. And also be sure to give the rest of our crew a follow as well. Yoinker's wife, who's always been known to post some great images in the off topic channels of the Discord, and also to Professor Renderer, a really fun person to do commentary with.
Yeah, I might be a cool commentator, but deep inside I am a green sign despair. Anyway, Trinex phase 1 down. Just gonna do this really quick phase 2, and we got 7 crystals on the board.
All right, so I think we'll be probably seeing chat spam some numbers in chat having to do with I think it's the lottery numbers for today. Isn't that right, Professor Renderer?
I guess you could, if you want ideas for the lottery, then sure. But what we're really doing is guess a number between 1 and 22 where you think that big key might be. Is the GT big key guessing game. One of them has to have the big key. And if you are the first one to get it, or the closest one to it, either above or below, then you'll get a little praise from me.
Well, in that case, I'm going to pick number 2. What do you think?
7.
Is that what you always go with?
Not really, but it's either 7 or 11. It's really hard to say. All right, 1, 2 heart containers,
Thank you, Count.
3 is a small key. We won't be seeing Bob today.
Direct. And number 4 turns out to be Red Rupee. 5 small key. 6 small key. 7 Ether. Let's go right.
Hey, I got a Franklin badge. Yeah, it's the DM route.
Which means we're just killing a little bit of time until we get to check number 8, half magic. You're not really worried about the magic at this stage. And Tony Too Young getting another crystal out of the Palace of Darkness. Crystal number 3 on the board. In addition to Swamp Palace. As we get to check number 8 for PH. 8. Red Rupee. 9. Red Rupee. 10. Red Pizza Quarter Heart. 10. 11 the same.
Has to mirror out. This is just this will be the more modern DM routes.
And so number 12 is going to be coming up over at the map chest. I lost the chance to get some love and respect from Professor Renderer a long time ago with my guess of 2. Is it time for me to say that I meant 2 with a 1 in front of it?
Oh, are we saying 12? Oh
no, it's already too late for me.
Well, I mean, you get it hard again. So if we're going to go for 12 again, but.
All right. Number 13 will be coming up here with the fire chain. Could Tony please be figuring this out? Is this the realization?
This might be the realization. Get
some love and support in chat for Tony Too Young. It's the big key to this dungeon. There it is, number 13. So if you pick number 13, you win today's big key guessing game. Next opportunity to play will be tomorrow, 12:10, when game number 2 between these two teams will be up against each other. Oh, come on!
This jumping down wrong one.
Oh,
but he has the right idea. Yeah, and also, as far as who's won the game specifically, Morgan84, a frequent viewer of the SpeedGaming Link to the Past Randomizer broadcasts. So you get a good on you from everyone's your residence green scientist bear.
Mirror. There we go.
That is it. It's a mirror blank, but it's the right idea.
It's the pathway to the right idea.
Right. And this is it. It's just the realization that this where it all came down. This was there from the very start. Takes a death on laser bridge, but that doesn't matter. You have the entrance. It's not a big deal. Keep going.
You have the concept. As we get the 3 small keys and the big key of this dungeon. And then Tony Too Young thinking, oh boy.
This better not be another. Okay, these save and continues. Going to leave. This might have been the realization. Laser bridge. This has to be. Yeah. Okay. Good. We're still going. This is going to be up to the top.
Yep, and we're going to head over towards the Turtle Rock Bridge. And this was, again, how the logic wanted you to get this Moon Pearl. It wanted you to climb up here by bunny walking, then drop down, mirror into Turtle Rock, and then head on over to the Chain Chomps. And we at least will see Tony T. Young get this Moon Pearl before PH finishes.
Swamp Big, and now is that Swamp Big for 2010, and now we're gonna go ahead and head over to the Chain Chomp room. Now this will be that Moon Pearl, but right now PH on the top of Ganon's tower is not gonna pick up any chests, because if that was the case, then that would have been a fluff. You don't want to fluff, and fluffing the collection rate is, I mean, fine if you like fluffing the collection rate, but PH doesn't want to. Well, I guess we can go pick up the fluff chest. Why not? Just why not?
We get the 3 bombs out of that, and then we get to find out that the silver arrows were probably in GT. Although, wouldn't it be something if he said Turtle Rock? Come on, you're almost there, Tony. You're almost there. I mean, as far as the race is concerned, PH is going to win this thing, but this is going to be a victory for Tony T. Young here. This Moon Pearl, GG's Tony T. Young. The answer to the puzzle has finally been revealed.
Yeah, it's finally been solved for Tony T. Young. It's honestly, I mean, for him, really, that's enough of a win as it is, really.
As Aghanim goes down for PH, getting ready to face off against Ganon as he drops down into his makeshift hole in inverted right on top of the castle. That will leave a mark. That's going to cost a whole lot of money.
I mean, even Ganon's straight up saying, well, why are you here in the first place? Alright, phase 2, entering for PH.
And this is a really good spot here. Get those 12 hits. Don't take the death, though. Got a blue potion. Use it. There we go.
Alright. Phase 3. Just 2 more, and we'll enter phase 4. We'll figure out where those silvers are. When the teleports stop. Thank you. Alright, silvers are gonna be in...
Of course.
Why am I not surprised? Version 31 has been... Version 31... Its legacy has been defined by silvers in GT. That's it. I'm just spinning back here.
You're not wrong.
Like, over the past, what, 2-3 years since version 31 has been a thing? It's been nothing but silvers and GT.
Version 31 has been a very, very long shelf life as we do the 12 spins to win for PH. Oh, there's our invincibility right there. The Gain of Berna in the basement of Hera. There's hit number 12 for PH as PH gets past the Picanha, the 1-0 series lead.
Yep, that GG's out for PH. This will be a win for past the Picanha from the Castle Division with an official race time, that GG time of 1:42.19, and directly after that, a forfeit comes out from Tony T. Young. I get it. It's totally understandable. The fact that this whole sequence of events ended up being just the Bat Moon Pearl. It's enough to throw in the towel.
Yeah, as soon as 22 Young found that Moon Pearl where he did, the fate pretty much was sealed. He knew at that point in time he had to be absolutely behind. As we'll get both of these runners into here, see if they want to go ahead and talk about this race. And once again, game number 2 between these two teams is going to be the Casual Boots pairing tomorrow, 12:10 p.m.
You don't want to miss this race. It is the open quarterfinals of the ALTTPR League Season 5 Open League. We have PH in the booth with us. GG's and congratulations on the 1-0 win.
Hey, thank you. I mean, GG's. So obviously I talked with Tony in the race room afterwards, and that's a really, that Moon Pearl was really stupid, and it's a terrible way to, like, for, if anyone doesn't know, Tony was, I believe, undefeated. I'm almost positive, and for good reason. He's really good, and so I'm obviously very glad to get the win, but I also know that in a lot of other seeds where that kind of locking doesn't happen, this probably goes very differently.
Correct, and you are right. Tony Tion has been undefeated up until tonight's match, and it's just really it was painful for us to really here in the commentators booth to kind of just see this, and because we've all been there, everyone has been there. It's not a good feeling to have.
Totally, and oh, sorry, go ahead, Rick.
I was just going to say, you've been there before, probably, as you've gone through a seed and you've missed something, and now your head is just swirling with, what did I miss? What do I miss? I've got to be missing something obvious, and it's so painful up until the minute you finally realize what you did wrong, and then your heart further sinks when you get the answer, because you know you pretty much just, unfortunately, this race didn't go your way.
Yeah, and it's so, I mean, it's funny because literally in a different tournament, I just got knocked out of because I forgot to check in Swamp, and it was you could not have described it better. It was going around and then getting to that last check and doing it, and then what did I forget? And then there's the moment when you do figure out what it was, and it's like, oh no, and it's such a tough feeling. And again, it's a really tricky thing. Like, I personally, like, the reason why I picked this mode is I really actually like inverted. Like, I legitimately enjoy playing inverted. Like, in other environments, when you get to like pick a seed type, like, I'll often put inverted modes in, but I know a lot of people don't like it, and so I often pick these because I enjoy it. But pragmatically, it is often an advantage because I sometimes may have played more inverted seeds than other people, and that can be a benefit.
And I mean, that's the advantage that being the top seeded team in the match winds up getting. And of course, you guys clinching your division and going into the playoffs that way, that's why game 3 is your choice.
Yeah, I mean, we worked really hard to get this. We needed to get our teammate Tepedino, needed the week off. he was quite insistent, so you got to do it. But yeah, I was glad to get a chance to give this mode a go. Again, because I understand. It's one of those funny things. I understand why people don't like it. But some of the reasons why people don't like it are reasons why I actually kind of enjoy it, because I am, there's a couple folks in chat joking, those of us who are sickos and actually like this kind of stuff.
But yeah, Tony, if you're listening to this broadcast at this point, we've all have been there with regards to what happened to you tonight. And, that doesn't take anything away from you and what you did this season so far. You're 8-1 for a reason, and now we move on towards game number 2 of this pairing between you two teams, and your team sending up Tepidino tomorrow for Casual Boots.
Yeah, I mean, Teppa and James are both incredibly good players. I was very, very lucky and honored to get a chance to team up with them. This was kind of Tepidino and I have known each other for a bit, and then actually Fear Agent recommended that I talk to James FNX. So super excited to see how they do.
And James is challenging you in chat right now. Any reply to your teammate?
I mean, he's incorrect. He's amazing. And all I'll say is that it's been so much fun. Like, the idea of League is awesome. And getting to play with people that you know and like, and play against people that you know, like, and respect is really a cool thing. Like, the idea of a team version of the randomizer is just such a, playing with friends. You can't get better than that. So I'm pumped for Teppa's race tomorrow. Can't wait to see James in Cross Keys, and I think it'll be an awesome, win or lose, the whole run has been super fun. So I'm just, it's cliche to say, but I'm just happy to be here.
Game 2 happening tomorrow. Tepidino versus VGF Taylor. Casual Boots happening 12:10 p.m. Eastern over on SpeedGaming 3. The Pseudo Boots Cross Keys match happening on Friday, December 23rd at 10:10 p.m. Eastern, I believe that was, Professor?
Correct.
All right, so any closing thoughts on this race, PH?
I mean, it was a little bit of a rough beginning. If you couldn't tell, I definitely had some nerves at the start, but I kind of settled in. I decided I wanted to commit to that big bunny walk, and it ended up, I think, working out relatively well with all the stuff that I found, which I think made some of the later things like. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna ask before we get to the big bunny walk. How about that TR laser bridge?
Oh my gosh, the 3 small keys and the big key. The eyes rolled out of the back of my head when the big key showed up.
I threatened to leave Renderer if it turned out to be the 4th Turtle Walk small key ending up on that bridge as well.
I was just like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, thanks. Why would you why would you do this to the game? It just, why?
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. And I did I had a, like, you saw, and then I was like, wait a second, I can mirror, I can get back in here. I should definitely at least check Spec Rock to make sure the Moon Pearl isn't just sitting there, because I already have the mitts. And then it was, well, should I go over and do TR? It's kind of slow. And I almost bailed and just went over there and did that first, and obviously that would have been better. But the flip side is that the Aga Tower play ended up kind of being a really good thing, because obviously it would have been required anyway with the Fire Rod. So I think it ended up being okay. I tend to kind of like, especially in inverted, pushing Aga Tower early, because there's a lot of random stuff that ends up in logic, even without the Moon Pearl. So it's one of those things where it's not like in regular where it's like, oh, if it's not on the pyramid ledge, then you just kind of wasted this trip. It's like, no, there's like 6-7 different locations where it could plausibly be in logic.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the bunny walk being one of the bigger things about that. So what prompted you to make the bunny walk through the light world before you went back to TR?
Well, I'd committed to doing Aga Tower, And I felt a million times better once I saw the fire rod. Like you saw, like that was the first place I went. It was like, let's just at the very least check to see if there's anything on. Oh, good. So I just got bailed out if the Moon Pearl was always available because this is required anyway. Now I'm feeling pretty good. And while we're here, let's just try and press this a bit because it's possible that I might be able to pick up some stuff that makes, like, frankly, I think it helped push me back to TR getting that Canis Samaria because I felt a lot more like I knew where the fire rod was. So I was like, all right, well, we're definitely not finishing TR until we find the Moon Pearl. But with Samaria, it's like it's a little easier to get around, and like you saw, I kind of like boofed some of the routing a bit in the dungeon, but it felt like something that I was willing to do to see if I could pick some stuff up. And again, like if the Moon Pearl happened to be there, I would have felt miles ahead. Well, maybe not miles ahead, but I would have felt really good about my choice to do Castle Tower, because if it was in one of those like random, or like the famous bunny walk to get into the mire area, and then you pull the Moon Pearl out of like Mire Shed, and it's like, well, okay, it's unlikely that my opponent did this a lot faster than I did. Like they may have done it similarly, but it's probably not something they got to like really way sooner, and they might not get here for a really long time. So I felt like it was worthwhile to give that a shot. Plus, I think it's also kind of just fun. To be honest, like we play this game for fun. You might as well have a good time with it.
We play this game for fun? Renderer, have you heard of this logic?
No. And I'm not usually an inverted, no hold up on inverted key logic, or rather inverted logic, period. But like, why? What is this game? Why would you place 3 of those when you didn't have like an invuln item?
Yeah, it was a weird. That was definitely goofy.
But as we know, this game can be goofy at times, even in standard modes and cross key modes. Doesn't matter the mode. This game can definitely have its yuck moments.
100%.
So I do want to pass along a couple of comments that Tony made in the race room. Forgot that mirror to TR was a thing, and was just glad there was nothing on the line, and is in decent spirits for this race. So GG's to Tony to Young, and best of luck to both teams as we get ready for race number 2 tomorrow, 12:10 p.m. over on Speed Gaming 3. So for more information about the league, the standings, to keep up with the brackets, you can go to ALTTPRleague.com. Before we wrap things up, I do want to give one final chance for PH to say anything to his team, say anything to the other team, or just say anything in general.
I mean, just good luck, obviously, to both runners tomorrow and for the rest of this round, but also huge thank yous, Rick, Renderer. When I heard that you guys were going comms, I was so pumped. I have so much respect for both of you. Thank you, Yoinker's wife, for tracking, and then also Drossi for adminning. I really, none of this happens without the people who make the actual restream fun to watch. So I'm super appreciative, and can't wait to watch this back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely thank you for the compliments, PH. How about a big GG for both of our runners, PH with a whole bunch of numbers at the end, and Tony T. Young as well. So, Renderer, you get the final words.
Well, as always, thank you everyone for watching. It was an honor to come with you again. It was especially something coming out to my winter break. But yeah. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for the next match. It'll be in about 11 hours. So take it easy, everybody. Have a good rest of your day, night, or whatever. Just, take it easy. Thanks for watching.
And happy holidays to everyone. Please enjoy your holidays.
Happy holidays. Take it easy.